forward, challenge.
Listen up, son. Check it out, though. Hey, yo, open your eyes, get wise and look alive. Focus your attention. Windows 95 updated, high-tech lynching. Cautious of the colored man who claim he owes the keys to the safe. Secrets of the world, blow him in his face. Who's the master of the universe? Galaxy and planets, Babylonians, the static moon, the sinking of Atlantis.
Be the one soul originals, black filled with melanin, going out like rebels in Kuwait and 2000.
Hear my synopsis, I drop this. Generates thoughts upon awareness of the here and now. Building a poem with many spirit now. Society and flaws, unjust laws remain devoid of common cause. Equality rules you to love that equality. Many's lord to trust this. Act of the devil possess the sword of justice. Take the devil's head through levels in bed. Truth to spread to mental dead.
Imagine us traveling back to Nazareth and raise up the black dead slaves like Lazarus.
With our chests raised through the blaze, holy essays. No more death days of ex-slaves possessed and caged.
It's the last days of time, we got to raise your mind. Brothers walk around dumb, different and blind. Pregnant earths always carry eggs. I pledge to never fall off the.
No, people, no, that's not real. Like, you ain't real if you're doing that. You know, but we got brother Mikael on here from Hebrews in the Hood. Hey, brother. So what happened, Mikael?
Shalom. Oh, not much, man. Like I said, I had to cut out, man. Check out ISUPK show, Israelite Vibes or whatever. You know, I just told them I'd come over there. So I went over there. I check out everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, even if I don't agree with all of the doctrine, I just check out Israel. I keep my eye on Israel, you know, universally. You know, because if people truly know the scriptures, man, you know, he tell us to watch and pray. Going on, you know, you gotta know how to see the signs, and you gotta see how Israel moving, man. Even all the way down to the looniest, spiritually retarded Israelites.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I ain't gonna say the camp. I ain't gonna say the camp. I ain't gonna say the camp name, man. But you know, I could vibe with Tazariak and them sometimes. But that other camp, man, I ain't gonna say the name of it. But with the rape doctrine, they so spiritually retarded, man. But I watch them too, though. You know, you gotta watch all of them. What I do, man, I'm a watchman. He said we supposed to be watchmen, man. We supposed to warn the people. So you can't be a watchman if you got tunnel vision.
Hey, what did you my wife was she was very impressed when you came on. Yeah, sorry, but you're hearing me screaming. My wife was she was watching the show, and she was like, who was that guy that came on and was talking? I was like, that's Mikael from Hebrews in the Hood. And I was like, he's one of those guys that's like everybody respects. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, like I don't know anybody that has an issue with you except for probably, I don't know, nobody has an issue with you. You know, there's certain people that are like bridges for everybody. Like BREWZ like that. BREWZ, the Blue Collar Scholar, is the kind of guy that like he's that guy that he can connect and get, you know, everyone joined up or whatever. I was like, yeah, Mikael's kind of like that, you know, like, because, you know, I did the same thing too. I watch everybody. I want to ask you, me and Chris and Sal and yourself, we were talking about, I mean, do you think it's even necessary? Because I mean, in your opinion, what do you think of Shield Squad and like, I mean, they're just not a force in my opinion. Do you think that, you know, like, what do you think their standing is now?
Well, I say, first off, as far as the, you know, I like to say I really do respect the honor and compliments that you give me, but now BREWZ, yeah, he's a true bridge. Like, all of Israel got love for BREWZ, you know. This way with me, because I mean, just like y'all, you know, if your conviction's strong about something that you know I has showed you and due to your study and elders and all of that, if somebody try to come take a poop on it, then every now and then, you know, you got to slap the cat up, you know. And so I had to get my respect. I had to bust some of the big names up in Israel, and after that we was cool. You know, it was kind of like, man, don't go there with me, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't just saying something or following something because I'm comfortable with doing it. I absolutely believe it, and it's proven me to be true. But you know, I can get along with any Israelites, man. If you focus more on the commonalities and not on the differences, I can get along. You know, but and now and then, you know, you got to jab a cat up, like, you know, I'm just real 100 with it, man. Like us on here, come when we gonna have to deal with certain doctrines and certain issues. You know, I don't do the phony stuff. That don't mean we don't love each other. That don't mean we ain't brothers. It just has to be dealt with. But it say do everything, you know, do everything in this season, man. It ain't the season for that right now. We under attack.
Correct.
You know, and so it's like as far as Shield Squad, man, it's like I kind of talk through them now. I don't talk at them no more. I talk through them because we have an audience. I mean, it's not as large as the Hebrew Israelite movement, but Reagan and them used to say marijuana was a gateway drug. I never found that to be true, but they said that it'll lead you to harsher things that it kill you, like crack, heroin, and all that. Is the gateway. They the gateway. Like they weak, but they open the door. You know, and I always said I won't dog out no brothers from no other camps. You know, so I get along with a lot of camps. Rakah opened the door for all this. Elder Rakah opened the door for all of this. I never get beat up by James White. You would never have a Christian apologetics, Ram, Shield Squad, Soldiers of God. They would not exist because up until that point, it was unheard of in the Hebrew community for an Israelite to lose a debate to a Christian. It had never happened ever before. No disrespect to the Christian community that's listening. 2 years ago, it was just common knowledge that your average modern day Christian don't study. They only listen to their pastor. So it's just easy to beat them up. You know what I'm saying? Christianity has always had to offer has been theology school and seminary school or cemetery school. And all it take you was a few weeks of just checking that out, and that's easy to destroy. Whenever I debate somebody, a pastor or something, I know where they're gonna go before they go there. So I just go there before they go there. I just go there for them. Oh, where you want to go to Galatians 5? Where you want to go to Romans 14:14? Where you want to go to Acts 10? I know where they're gonna go. A buck dance around something that they don't want to have to deal with. And then, as usual, they usually read, cherry pick. They'll one verse you to death. And normally all you got to do is read 3 to 4 verses up and 3 to 4 verses down to get understanding of what it is that they're not saying. So as far as Shield is concerned, like I say, they are a factor, although they're not a factor head on. Like they don't have anybody really strong enough, you know, that you could say is really a formidable opponent. I say G-Con, and I'm not saying that just because that, you know, that used to be my homie, but he probably the strongest one over there just because he read history. You know, he read history. You know, and not to be biased, I would probably have to say G-Man, even though he with the other squad, from what I know about him, I mean, he real basic, like ABC, but he got a lot of courage though. He got courage though. You know, he'll run up and get, you know, he immune to getting lumped up. So he a factor just nervous system. So he a factor because of that. But I probably have to say G-Con and then maybe Faithful to God, probably the only two that I could see that's really worth. But then in the end of the day, after you debate them, what is going to be accomplished? Because I've seen people from that squad be cut up consecutively. And it's like, I mean, I've seen their limbs get chopped off. You know, arms, legs, they've been cut to pieces. It's a bunch of chicken nuggets sitting over. They ain't got no limb. bother them. Like it don't bother them because seriously, because look, they have a bigger agenda. They got a bigger goal. And their goal is to bring as many people back into the slave master's version of Christianity, lawlessness. That's it. So to that degree, they a factor because, like I said, they like a gateway drug. You know, sooner or later you're gonna get some. It's gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to deal with them. So about that, but in the end of the day, I mean, they can't stop it. This prophecy they fighting against. You know what I'm saying?
Faithful to God, you mentioned. You know, brothers probably always wonder, like, yo, man, Judah, man, why you always like? Because I talked to him like one time on a live stream, and it sounds like he has some sense. It just sounds like he like
right.
Somebody made a term called camp hurt or something. It sounds like whenever
that's Mikael. That's Mikael. That's your term.
Yeah, that's from my Brucian It's called church hurt.
That's church hurt. Yeah, that Mikael word right there.
But even though, I mean, but then when he sees his crew getting mollywopped, he still sticks with him and he still does this trolling and it's like it's getting to the point where it's like, man, this is pathetic. Like you know, like I mean, like I would never be with a team that's just gonna just where it's their job to just hold L's. Honestly, I mean, I'm not taking a jab at Divine Prospect. The way Divine Prospect does his exegesis and all that stuff or whatever, to me, the way he does that is not spiritual. It's more like it's like a collegiate classroom type Garfield Reed type of, this or whatever. And that's cool because we need people like that. We do. Like, we need people like that. And because that's the way they are too, Jesus, this, and blah, 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 they're not spiritual at all. So I think when they went over there messing with him, that's what he does. He like knocked them all out. Like,
yeah.
Like he knocked them. Yeah, you played his game. You're not going to beat him, but that's what he does. You're not going to beat him like that.
Right.
And then you're not going to beat spiritual Israelites. So I want to, I mean, are they even a factor enough that we need to assemble a team to combat?
No, let me say this. It was just like what I was saying on Debate Talk for You. Let's look at the bigger picture. When the Hebrew war machine was formed up, and like you said, it was certain elements of the war machine you liked, but it got kind of cliquey, as you put it. And, when Hebrew war machine formed, the brother Michael Edwards, I believe it was Demo Fulton and Nasi Yashuvel, that was an honor because they recruited me. You know what I'm saying? Demo and Nasi recruited me. That's how the Hebrew war machine was. You couldn't just jump in and say, hey, I like the Hebrew war. They had to watch you. They watched you and seen if you had some type of scholarship. If you didn't have no scholarship, you wouldn't be valuable to them. Everybody didn't do straight out debates. A lot of us were researchers and we would just share our information. You know what I'm saying? And so that whole spirit of it was right, until certain things happened or whatever. But like with this, right, we only formed that to go against Kemetic science. And the whole was we knew that Kemet was going to try to point out our differences in beliefs. Hey, these cats don't even all believe the same thing. And they try to get us to use it against one another. And for the most part, it didn't work up until the end. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. But so, so it kind of was like, at that point, it wasn't about beating up Armin Ross Squad no more. Because like I used to just have fun, just like jabbing Ankh up, Ankh and them. Like we'd be in the back chat, man. I mean, we'd be on live videos, man. And if he watching, I hope he watched too, because I've been picking at him lately because I hadn't talked to him in about a year. But I beat Ankh up so bad one day, man. Matter of fact, it was on G-Con's show when I was his co-host. I beat him up so bad, I got him to admit the God of the Hebrews more than likely exists. He said it live. He said the God of the Hebrews probably exists, because I asked him some questions and he got a brain freeze. So I knew then that it was bigger than the Amon-Ra squad and the Hebrew war machine. It was a global thing that we was doing, because we know more people. Look at comedic science. Them the first cats you come across. You know what I'm saying? It's like Hebrews and comedics. It's like GDs and Vice Lords or Bloods and Crips. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing with this now. This is where this is about to go to. So it ain't about Shield Squad no more. It's about all the rest of them pagan Roman Christians that's going to get the courage, because, you know, people like Shield Squad, to try to actually make a legit stance. And so that's what it's about now. So like I say, I'm looking through them now. I'm looking through them and not looking at them. So on that standpoint, if we form, we're going to form just to debunk anybody that's going to try to prove that we not the Israelites of the Bible. That's how I'm looking at it.
We might need to get some, if that's, well, you know, Synagogue J and all them, and all them, and So Real, you know, they did just a horrible job. Like, you know, deny is not going to prove anything. Like, right? Denial is just is a river in Egypt. So, you know what I'm saying? You might,
let me share this. Let me share this with you, Judah. Let me show you the coldest recipe. And it's kind of hard to do for some people, but it can be done, right? Let's be honest. We don't say we want to win our brother over to believe or see the scriptures exactly like we see them. So it won't be so much division. But we know both the Old and the New Testament alludes to, we gonna have division until that time. You know what I'm saying? That time when the Most High comes straighten everything out. You know what I'm saying? That it's gone. But one thing we not gonna have that confusion of who we are no more. I mean, it's gonna get to the point where everybody gonna know we Israelites, and we gonna have some rough lives out here. You know what I'm saying? So people all these internet revolutionary saints, we gonna see if you ready to die in a little while, because it's about to get serious. So what I know is that this is what we gonna have to do. Okay, in Hebrew War Machine, it was one thing they had that was real good that I admire. We knew all of us believed different things, and a lot of us were in camps, right? Not all of us. Half of us were in camps, half of us was not in camps. So when we not formulating in brotherhood and together, we gonna go back to our camp and teach what we've been teaching. Now, somebody might get offended by that you've been chilling with in the crew. Well, don't watch our camp lessons then, because you know what we teach. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know what TORAH nights teach. You know what I'm saying? But when we coming together, right? Okay, so what we would do was, say we about to debate some comedics. Whatever that comedic angle was, we had a brother in there for that. So even if we didn't agree with that brother, we say, you know what? Let him get this, because that's what he best at. I'm an Israelite that believe in Jesus Christ, just like that, point blank, period. I believe him as our high priest. I believe him as our future king of kings. King David will be a king also. This is just what I believe. And I know a lot of y'all don't agree with that. I believe that's, you know, he will be governor and ruler king, Jesus Christ, Messiah, all that, right? Okay. But at the same time, I don't believe in a Jesus that's Romanized. I don't believe in a Jesus that acts absolutely nothing like a Hebrew. I don't believe in a Jesus that tell you can eat anything, just a lawless criminal. I don't believe in that Jesus. Therefore, if I'm going against somebody who call themselves a Christian and say they believe in Jesus, and especially the Paulineites, I just send them to me. I'll tear a new hole in them and make them look stupid with nothing but Paul. With nothing but Paul. Because it's one thing Peter said that 99.99% of Sunday churches don't pay attention to. Peter said Paul had wisdom, but then he warned you. He said, our brother Paul, he said, do not go to, I'm paraphrasing, do not like run to Paul's writings. If you not learned in the Torah, if you not learned in that book, do not, it said, or it will be to your own destruction. What churches do? 99% of what they taught is Paul, and guess what? They destroyed. So if I know that I could do that, then it could be somebody like you, Judah, who specialize in the temples and certain ceremonial things and all that went down in the Torah. One of these bootleg Christian theologians come on here talking about how it was done and it's a misunderstanding of it. I'm gonna be like, no, Judah, go get him. You see what I'm saying? And that's really how we did it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm like all time. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, I don't really have much to say. I was just like tuning into what he was saying, like albeit our theological differences are separate. When it's time to go get somebody, go get somebody. You know what I'm saying? They over there tripping. You know, Judah, go over there and get him. Chris, go over there and get him. Mikael, go over there and get him. Trey Tail, go bang on them on that doctrine that they spitting. Because you know, like I told him, Mikael, it was me and you had that what we speak about a couple of weeks ago. We spoke for about what, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and me and him was speaking on behavioral patterns and just overall things we shouldn't be doing. And you know, I brought that to you, Judah, of course, and even before we went on air. And you know, it's the small things. What I'm starting to learn here, it's the small things. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, a soft word crushes an entire, can smash a rock. Now, what I'm noticing, and I'm saying is this, is culture. Like the Hebrews, that's our culture. And that's what they're attacking. You know, Sister Imuna told the lady Angie while the Shield Squad was parading her around, talking about, look what the Hebrew Israelites did to this woman. They caused her wedding, her marriage, and albeit it be sad, Sister Imuna said, you guys have your own platform. Why would you come over here with it? Because now you're trying to condemn a culture. And that's what vocab is attacking. You understand what I'm saying? And you see him trying to infiltrate that now. And that's where I feel like I'm going to stand up for our culture. You see, guys shouldn't even really be arguing right now. And for gentlemen like G-Man, you know, you could just hope one day he opens his eyes, you know. You know, James White said something. James White told Divine Prospect, he said, Divine Prospect said something to the point of, not all Hebrew Israelite camps are the same. And James White said, I always delineate that before I start speaking about them. He says, not all camps are the same. And to back that up, and I'm going to co-sign James White on that, I was on G-Man's page one time, and James, the White Wolf White, on there, he left a comment saying, G-Man, you should stop attacking camps. Not all camps are the same. So I don't even know if James White is telling vocab to go get them anymore. I don't even think he's telling them that anymore. I know they are all affiliated. But I don't even know if he's telling him to do that. What I think is there's a little bit of there's a little bit of envy. The book and the God he loves, you know, he found out that the same people that have been over here in America being trashed, belittled, and you know, we just destructive to ourselves also. It's the same people who God loves and wants to come back to him. And that's what I kind of like hear when I hear him coming after the Hebrew Israelites. And that's what I hear. So
you know what? It's funny you say that, because I was telling somebody, said it on one of my videos. I don't know if I was talking to somebody live, but I told him, I said, man, I don't know. He said, I told him, I said, it looked like to me, James White, and it kind of bagged up off of it. Now, not saying that he not, you know, up there in the hierarchy or nothing, because like I say, he springboarded this whole thing. But I think he got a sense. He's intellectual, point blank period. He's intellectual. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Not enough sense to see what it was going about it all wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more of the case, and it's just me being observant. And I know vocab gonna get his little underwear and a bunch or whatever. But it seemed like vocab tasted the fame. He tasted the fame, and you can't tell him nothing no more. He grew a pair of man onions. You know what I'm saying? And he think, you know, he like wrote a little book now, you know. And it's funny you said that about the culture thing, because I happen to run across I might put it in my next video, man. But I ran across the funniest video I ever seen in my life, man. It's a video of Vocab Malone, man, on the stage rapping, man, with a look like he got a Prince rap in his head, man.
Oh man, I seen that.
He jumping around. He with a brother too. He with a Jake with some long dreadlocks, man. I mean, his lyrics was horrible.
This, kindergarten level.
Joe, this was the worst. I mean, he made rapping Forte sound like Oz, man. Like, this is the worst rapping in my life, right? And I'm like, okay, so I know he admires us to a degree. So, you know, he got the culture vulture thing going on, but that didn't work. Oh, so since he couldn't entertain like us, because you know what I'm saying, I guess he say a spiritual level there. You know, he's trying to emulate us. He's trying to emulate us, and so being that he know that he gotta know we them people. I never believe that man don't believe we are them people, man. I'm telling you.
Right. There's no way you can. That's why I said if we all were like, you know what, we're Chinese. And if we said we were Chinese people, there would be like millions of Chinese people being like, "Oh, for real?" And we would get demolished in Chinese history and Chinese everything because we're not Chinese. That's why I always say, like, man, like you just like, so they can't deny it. I mean, how? Man, you don't lose the people who are not the people. Like that's impossible. Like it's
right.
You know what I mean? Like they've been getting. So of course they know. He's just being a demon. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
But faithfully God, man, you better come out of that.
That you just said the key point. You just said the key point. So at this point, if you know we the Israelites, yet you still kicking against the natural branch. You kicking against the natural. I know y'all don't like that word branch. Yes. You kicking against the natural, right? If you kicking against what's natural and you know we that, then at this point, you got to be turned over. You got to be a reprobate. You got to be working on the other team. Point blank period, you got to be working for Satan. That's the only way I could put it. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. Because ain't no way. I know it, man, because when the few times I have spoken with him, but like voice to voice, whether it was on a show or whatever, or even when they make a video or a show, and I'm a humble brother. I don't think I'm the baddest brother on earth, man. I got teachers that will squash me. And that humbleness is the only reason the Lord even allowed my knowledge to increase, right? But as far as the warrior thing, that's how I was brought up. You know, also I was brought up, I can call BS whenever I see it, man. And I'm telling you, whenever I hear that dude vocab speak, if I speak to him or he even say my name, man, I can hear his bowels get loose. I swore I heard him fart. I'm telling you, I heard him fart on Debate Talk for You when I called in, man. That man bowels got loose. You know what I'm saying? That's because he know that I know. He know I know that he know that we know he know. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Josh, you want to say something?
Man, I was just tripping out over what he said, man. I lost track of what I was thinking, man. I was going to actually ask Brother Mikael a question. I wanted to pick his brain on something real quick. You there, brother?
Yeah, go ahead. Don't try to sneak no debating or nothing, man. I hate to have to wipe you.
No, what you talking about? You the one? Okay, all right, never mind. All right. So check this out. Whenever it comes to the Ten Commandments, and do you consider the writings of Paul and like a side note of the Ten Commandments, or some cliff notes, if you will, or more like an addendum? I just want to ask you that question. It wasn't like, because it just got me thinking about you mentioned something about the New Testament or something about Paul, and that's what it got me thinking about.
Okay, cool question. Well, I say this, as if you were to compare me to the people at hand, whereas they look at Paul as the final authority. Like the Old Testament, quote unquote, because I like to call it the original Testament when I say OT. You know, the Torah, the Tanakh, the prophets, even the disciples, and all of that. It's like when it come to Paul, he just rewrote the game in their eyes. Like he just came, and it's what Paul's. They actually go off what Paul say, what Christ say, right? Whereas it with me, not only are they what Paul's saying, because you got to remember, Paul didn't pop out of Shaul didn't pop out of thin air. He was a Pharisee, and he wasn't a foot soldier. The chiefs, and his father, he came from the pedigree of it. These men were lawmen. They knew the Torah, like they was cold in it. You know what I'm saying? Wipe all that out and say, hey, look, man, you know, I'm possessed by a whole new, all that had nothing to do with nothing. No. When Paul says words like the law, this goes back to what Peter was trying to tell them. If you don't understand the law, if you don't even understand that the law is even chopped up in categories, if you don't understand the difference between ceremonial, judgment, sacrificial, dietary, moral, and all of these different categories, then when you hear Paul talk, you're going to destroy yourself. So when you hear Paul talking, what Paul was actually doing was reiterating the law that already exists, which he knew. So no, he was not with some new agenda, and no, he was not like that. Paul was submitting to that. You know, they just, you know.
All right, Con, brother Mikael, that's a great answer. Check. But oh, my bad. You just I hear my echo. Okay, but you touched on exactly what I guess I was more so trying to figure out. If you thought that more so the morality, for instance, like when we look at the Ten Commandments, right? And people read them as they are, then the suggestion is that whoever reads them is supposed to know off the bat what not to do upon each commandment. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you see what Paul, like you said, is more so like an addition to the OT, like a more of a in-depth explanation of it. Do you think that as far as morality, Paul go in, more so in on the morality of the so-called OT, or is there the morality even more extensive in the OT than as far as what Paul is talking about? If that explains what I was trying to get at.
Okay, I understand exactly what you asking. I think it's more like this. I hope this answers your question clearly. When I look at Paul writing with understanding, like basically I keep going back to, people need to read that, you know, when Paul said, Peter said exactly what he said. Paul, right? First of all, I look at who Paul talking to. Who Paul talking to, and at what time. And so when I when I listen to what Paul is talking to, what I realize is Israel knew the fullness of those commandments. They lived them. They came from a long line in culture and tradition of them. We start to drift off. And then especially when he's talking to people who are Israelites, that's where it sounds like he kind of talking kind of political with it. So when I look at Paul's writings, he was speaking more of a, as you put it, more from a moral kind of, I mean, he was talking about what a lot of them already knew, but it's as if he was going in depth with it. Like he was trying to take it on another level. For example, it's almost as if he was trying to do what Jesus or Yahweh was doing. Cold with it. You know, you're trying to trip him up on a law. He let you know you all this time you ain't even knew what that law meant. But you didn't even know why. Who was you talking to? Like, you know what I'm saying? I heard what Judah said. I heard what Judah said earlier when he was saying something about how they look at Jesus. You know, how they look at it, how y'all look at him different. You know, more of a master teacher, right? He said that because I did a lesson a couple years back on Global Media on Basim show. Jesus, Lord of the Law, and I was showing how, like, even when they tried to trip him up, catch him up, set him up for a brick shower, you know, about picking ears of corn picking corn on the Sabbath day. And in the lesson that they didn't even know that was in the law. He literally went back to Deuteronomy in it, where it tells you don't put a sheaf to the corn and things of that nature, and don't like load it on a truck. I'm paraphrasing. And now you laboring. You see what I'm saying? But if you with your people and y'all on a journey on the Sabbath trying to get back to the crib, because you know you ain't supposed to be journeying a long way on the Sabbath.
Unless for a holy convocation.
Exactly. Unless for a holy convocation. 3 majors, right? The 3 mandatories. So what Christ and his understood, they understood it on another level because they knew the law. He knew it for real. We just traveling. You can grab you enough corn for you to eat in the store or try to load on those trucks or go sell. He knew this because it's in the law. It's in Deuteronomy. It literally is in there just like that. They ain't had no sheaves cutting down. So that's why he said even it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. And then in another instance, if your ox fall in the ditch on the Sabbath, you go to law when it talk about sort of like, even when you see your enemy, ox on the side of the road, ox beat up or whatever, you go help that man up there. You don't leave that ox out there to die, even if it's somebody that you can't stand. And go back, and then you look at the Mashiach from a Hebrew's eye, and not only did he not ever break the Torah, he perfected it. And that's what Paul was trying to explain the deepness of it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he wasn't a man.
Can I say something to add on to that real quick, Mikael?
Sure.
Okay, Psalms the 19th chapter tell us the law is already perfect. So I wouldn't say he perfected it. You know what I'm saying? It was already perfect. It was like Paul said, the people that wasn't perfect. It wasn't the law that had fault. It was the people that had fault. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I go with that. Yeah, I go with that.
You see what I'm saying? So oh, go ahead, yo.
Let me just I'll just close it out. Okay. No, I was gonna ask him. That's exactly what I was trying to get, the answer I was looking for, because I was looking towards Elohim or Yahweh to explain, to show that even in the most astute mind, Paul is still folly. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's exactly what I figured, and exactly I agree with everything you're saying right there. So yeah.
I was gonna say too when he says I came not to destroy the Torah but to fulfill it. That word fulfill also means to consecrate. You know, to exalt it. Because we, I mean, yeah, when you read in the Dead Sea Scrolls, when it says he came, it was like he came teaching from the mouth of God, like Yah had put it in his spirit, his soul, to expound on the secret things. Because you know, a lot of them were like being like today we have like Israelites or like Old Testament Israelites. They're like literally like just you wouldn't believe the folly. Remember, they only survive on Facebook too. By the way, they can't survive on YouTube with this folly. You have OT Israelites who be like, man, I don't believe in nothing but only the first 5 books. I don't believe in David. I don't believe in the prophets. I don't believe in. And I'm like, Negro, what? Like, but again, they can only survive on Facebook with that folly. And even then, the first 5 books, they think it's just a book of just don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that. When you read it's Deuteronomy 6:1, they say law, statutes, and commandments, but it's actually the commandments, the decrees, customs, and the judgments, right? And if you know the commandments is like, you know, when you look at the word matzawath, you know, it's the same word you use for to go out, right? It's, you know, it's that going out of that lower, you know, because we have sin inclination, or the natural fleshly man has a tendency to get, you know, to satiate his carnal desires. Red is that fight, you know, like you have to fight against that, you know, like I said it today in the broadcast. I was like, yo, it's easy to do wrong, right? I mean, you know, you have to have that internal fight. So, you know, so that's what I was saying. Like he was teaching these.
Let me add, Judah. It's funny.
Go ahead, bro.
It's funny you say that. Let me add to something you just said. I'm so glad you said that. And to my dear brother who spoke earlier, I don't know your name. I'm not anti-Paul to say folly. Let's just put it like this. I respect Paul a whole lot than I used to.
Oh no. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you're anti-Paul at all. If not, you wouldn't even went in depth like that. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't want no misconception for the view. I got a ministry too, Walls Jericho. I think I didn't turned out. Hey, but look, right. Most High willing, intact. I please the Most High, make it to the kingdom. I definitely want to holler at Paul. We got to have some conversations because a couple things. I'll be like, man, Jake, why did you say that? You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, he got some stuff in here that's a little bit of folly. You know what I'm saying? I can point it out all day.
I put it like a lot of times when Paul say stuff, though, I will give it to him. He'll let you know that he finna get off on something. They don't pay attention to that. Like when he specifically say it come from the law or the Lord, or however you phrase it, that's what he on. But every now and then, he'll let you know that came from him. I don't know why they don't read them parts where he say stuff came from him. It even a couple times.
2:16. Yeah,
he specifically said it, but I don't want to lose track. What Judah just brought that up about the first 5, right? Right. This is so funny. He said, okay, I got 2 angles, a double-edged sword for that. Called New Testament Christians. They don't even know that first 5 book is not just a dead, don't do this, don't do that, like you said. They don't even know grace was in the Torah, man. Grace did not first in the New Testament. So if you so under grace and graceful, then you got to go back to the Torah. And what's funny, on the other end, was talking about the Torah only brothers who don't even deal with the judges, prophets, or none of that. Do you know when I knew it was ridiculous, I knew Israel was just I knew we was the people of the book because we were just so spiritually screwed up. I ran into a whole camp of cats that had the Star David. The Star David, y'all. I want y'all to hear where I'm finna go with this. These dudes had the Star David and they was Torah only. And I sat there for a minute and I was like, hey, bro, you know what that shield represent on your you know, that signet? What that represent? Oh man, you know, that's the David of the. I said, man, ain't you don't deal with the prophets and none of that, right? Like, no. I was like, dude, so how's you attributing that to David? He through with them, and they didn't even get it to one of them caught it, man. They was just looking stupid. I said, man, y'all need to stop, man.
Oh yeah, that was clever.
False flagging on that. They false flagging on that.
Yeah, that was clever of you, man. They didn't even know what you was talking about.
And look, and let me say this too. And look, well, and look. If you look at it from the Torah standpoint, you gotta remember this is the wilderness, right?
Ain't that Solomon?
Moses died here. Moses died here. The story didn't end until Joshua brought them into the land. So how can you only be the first 5 books? That's that's folly.
It's funny. How could it be? And how could you be? How could you be talking about you Reverend Day? He wasn't even born yet. To get deep, but that looked like Solomon's temple out line right there. What was that you just held up?
So it's Solomon's temple, yeah. But it describes this is Ezekiel 43 verse 10.
Right.
You got the wilderness, and then you come into the land. But I'm saying, like, remember when Yahweh told Moses to go up on the mountain and look to the north, south, east, and west. Moses was like, yo, can I come in here? The Most High was like, don't talk to me no further about it. It's too much for you. He used Joshua, Yahweh Shah, to bring in to cross over into the land. So for any, and I'm saying, when I say OT Israelites, I really don't believe there's no such thing as an Old Testament, but I call them that to show that they are not spiritual. The story didn't even end. Joshua, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then you had the judges before we even had kings. So, and they were in the land. So these dudes are saying they just stopped in the wilderness and just the story is over. That's folly. But like you said, I've seen that on Facebook, and there was a room full of idiots like that. And I was like, let me get myself out of here, because I'm gonna just wind up just cursing these dudes out and getting kicked out anyway. So,
and see, that's another reason I break bread with y'all every night. Cause see, I peep people, right? And one of my things is, at this point in my life, man, we all babes. We all babes. You can't never get too puffed up. But after 20 plus years, man, being in Israel, man, you get to a level where it's like you look at people and say, how don't you see the spiritual significance of that? Like, why is it just?
I say the same thing.
You know what I'm saying? It's like real talk. It's like for example, I heard them on Shield Squad. I happened to click on one of their shows a few weeks ago. I know they're gonna see this and be like, man, why don't you keep my name out? Yeah, whatever, man. Look, it is what it is. Talked to G on the phone a couple of weeks ago. We hadn't talked in a long time, because since it's been on. When it's on with me, Joe, I go back. Like my street mentality. Don't be trying to butter me up and kiki, and it's on. You know what I'm saying? You got to catch these when I see you. But I told him, I was like, it's still whatever. You on the other side of the fence now. And when I listened to one of their shows, I didn't say nothing to them about it, but I listened to one of their shows, and they was talking about they waiting on some Israelites to answer something in I think it was Zechariah chapter 5. I believe it was. And it was so funny, because whatever it was, I can't remember right now, but exactly what chapter it was that he was talking about, man, I'm thinking to myself, he ain't even ready for that. Ain't none of them over there ready for that. We actually had a lesson called The Gospel According to Zechariah. You can actually see the whole gospel of the entire book through Zechariah if you on that level. But I know they ain't even on.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? They ain't on that level whatsoever. So when I see people that can see the bigger picture of these precepts and all of that, because the Most High is not a vain Most High. He don't have us do something just for vain repetition. You know what I'm saying? Just do that because we Israelites. Just because I said do that. It all have a deeper meaning to it. And you know what I'm saying? So when I see people that try to tap into that, I can get with you. I can get with you, man. Like for a lot of years, man, it's a lot of cats that thought I was Tanakh only. Thought I was Tanakh only for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I really, I really just recently started back, you know, going ham, beating the Jesus drums, just because I had a couple of cats, you know, and they probably watching too. And ain't nobody on here, but you know, they kind of and almost forget or whatever. And but it's a compliment also, and that's because I always try to tell these you know, so-called Christians, man, if you don't know the original text, which is the OT, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I call it the original. Ain't no way you can understand the New Testament. So I spend most of my time in the Old Testament. Like real talk, that's what it mean at, man. It's stuff, man. You can read stuff and you can read stuff from Genesis to Malachi that you thought you read. Go back and read it, and every time you read it, you will peep something new. Like, dang, I never noticed that.
Well, you know what, Mikael, what they're reading is when Paul said the law is not your righteousness. Christ is your righteousness. And you get the Shield Squad, they'll build a doctrine off of that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Deuteronomy 6, verse 25 expressly tells us that the law is our righteousness, right? This is the word of the Most High. So if you got not a Mikael, but if you got somebody like Paul writing this, right, and they're reading this, they're going to automatically think that, okay, you don't have to do this no more. You don't have to do the law anymore. But the one thing I always ask is, are you obedient to the laws of the land that you're in now? You understand what I'm saying? I said, what's the law of the land now? You know, don't run a red light, thou shalt not kill. I said, right? I said, so you obedient to man's law, right? But you don't want to be obedient to the Creator's law.
Right.
Not to mention, man got his law from the Creator.
Yes.
So you're saying you respect man more than the Creator. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Now, here's another conundrum, if you don't mind me bringing it up. Galatians chapter. What's that, bro?
Yeah, I used to deal with conundrums all the time, man. I love them brain.
Okay. And let me go to Galatians chapter 3. I haven't. Let me, because I just was reading through this the other day. Paul dealt with a lot of metaphysics and stoicism.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Now,
yes,
Galatians chapter 3.
After you read that, it's going back to what Judah was talking about, and you lamb backed off of it. You know, I always say we Hebrews, we don't piggyback, we lamb back, right? So when you
right
after you read that, I want you to read one verse, although the whole story and context is something different, but this verse stand out. Galatians, read Acts chapter 17 and just read verse 11.
Okay. All right. And this is what they are reading. It says, are ye so foolish, having begun in the spirit, are you now made perfect by the flesh? Have ye suffered in so many things in vain? This is Galatians chapter 3. Starting at verse 3. Have ye suffered so many things in vain, if it be yet in vain? Therefore, that ministereth to you the Spirit and worketh miracles among you, doeth he it by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith? Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. And ye know therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And the scripture, foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through faith, preached forth the gospel unto Abraham, saying, in thee shall all nations be blessed. Now, they'll read that. You get groups that read this, and they'll say, see, the law is of faith. It's not of works. But see, where we always teach is, okay, who are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to man, or are you going to listen to the Creator? Because the first things first, this was being addressed to a church. This was not, you understand what I'm saying? But when you take him back to Deuteronomy 6, verse 25, and let me read this because I don't want to paraphrase the scriptures. Okay, Deuteronomy 6:25, it says, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God as he has commanded us. Right? And they say the new, I'm just running these things through. It says that the new covenant will be the law on our heart. But when you read The old covenant, the law was already on our heart. As we read in Deuteronomy, the 32nd chapter, it was already in our heart, bro. So what it is, Jeremiah is saying it's going to be a renewal of the same covenant that's given because it's an eternal covenant. You understand what I'm saying? And Israel got to be brought back under the rod of the covenant in order for the new covenant to exist. I want to know your take on that. I know we land back in right now. I hate to have you know, jumped around like that. I don't generally do that, but I just want to show you that they do not read the Torah. It's like
Right.
it's like bad
Wait,
wine
hold
for them.
we got a few minutes because I got a class to teach in a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, for time constraints, we can expound on it later. But for the most part, I agree with what you said. And what's funny, it also say faith without works is dead. Who said that? I mean,
That's right.
why would it?
That'd be James the Zadok.
Right. And so the killer part about it is, now we was talking earlier. It talks about these noble men, but let's look and see what made them noble. Read that verse in Acts 17 and 11.
Let me get that. Acts 17 and 11. Let's read that.
And this is what
Acts
we
7.
do. But what was they doing?
Okay, Acts 17 and 11. Oh, I know what you about to. Okay, I know what you about to show. It says these were more noble than those in Thessalonica, and that they received the word with all the readiness of mind and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so. I know exactly. I knew you was gonna go there. Cool.
You see what I'm saying?
Now, I know exactly what you're saying.
So what made them more ready in mind than anybody else, meaning they could receive anything better, is because they was in the scriptures daily. They was in them. It's serious, man.
Correct.
Being more noble than everybody else. They was in them scriptures. So if you were so-called, you know, that's like somebody coming to, that's like y'all inviting me, hey man, Mikael, why don't you come out, man? We about to go watch the new Avengers movie, right? On the movie, and there's 30 minutes left in it. The show, somebody walk up and say, man, you see that Avengers? And I'd be like, yeah, man, it was off the chain, man. You know, like, dude, you came in the last, you don't know what went on. Yeah. And that's how New Testament Christians are. They walk in when the credits rolling. So the whole movie. Bogus.
Correct.
Yo, Shalom.
I'm gonna agree and switch on that.
Yo, could I get a script out for us all said and done? Could we get First Samuel 7:4? Hey, Shalom, brother.
Hey, shalom, dear brother. Shalom. Shalom.
Yeah, Shalom. Yeah. Much love and respect, brother.
Hey, First Samuel what?
1 Samuel 7 verse 4. I want to get a couple scriptures out. It's real quick. You can go ahead when you're ready, Judah.
I got it.
All right,
I got
First
it.
Samuel. Okay.
Okay, I got you, Judah. It said, then the children of Israel did put away Balaam and Asaroth and served the Most High only.
Praise Yahweh. Hey, this is gonna be real quick. Hey, cause somebody get Psalms 148 and 13. It's gonna be real quick. I'm just gonna go right through it. Hey, Trey,
I got it.
could you get Deuteronomy 32 and 12?
138 and 14, you said?
148 and 13. Psalms 148 and 13. Hey, Trey, Deuteronomy 32 and 12.
All right.
Go ahead, Chris.
He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yah.
Praise Yahweh. Hey, the last one, Deuteronomy 32 and 12.
All right. Yahweh alone guided him. No foreign God was with him.
Hey, Yahweh God, man, forever and ever. Hey, Shalom, Torah Knights. Appreciate you coming on, brother. Much love and respect. Hopefully, this encourages the rest of Israel to come together. We can put our differences aside and we can come together on the common ground of Torah. Shalom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shalom. And if y'all don't mind, let me get a song in.
I got you.
Go to and this I want everybody watching this to understand this, because it looked like something simple, but when the Most High showed me what it meant, and then I took it to some elders, and they was like, "That's exactly what it meant." Well, and y'all might know this, but a lot of people don't. One, go to Psalms 111.
Let's get it.
This is for that puzzling time, that awkward situation, who act like they know the book so good, but you like, how are y'all reading this and you just can't understand it? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if they saying that the law is no more and they don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, this is gonna show you why the Most High won't open up their understanding to the simplicity in the book. Having to read verse 10.
I got you. The fear. Wise. I need you to pay attention to this one. You was just teaching this the other day. The fear of the Lord is the fear of the Lord. Let me read that again. The fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. Good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. Hallelujah.
So, as you can see, this is a fact. This is the requirement. If you do not do his commandments, you don't have no understanding. That is the requirement. If he don't see you keeping if you ain't even attempting to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, he gonna keep you on dumb mode. That's just a fact. You don't deserve to have your mind opened up to understand. With that, I say shalom, shalom.
All right, we're about to. I guess we're about to end. But I wanted to back up them too. Okay, Josh. Go ahead, brother.
No. I was just saying shalom to the brother Mikael.
Shalom, Mikael. Thanks for coming on, man.
We'll be going off in like 2 minutes. To just back up what these brothers are saying. So this, remember, Ezekiel 43 is talking about the whole house of Israel and the temple man. And once you like understand like what it is, you become ashamed of your iniquities and things like that, and you turn back, turn your life around. You got to be born again. All the I used to be into like a bunch of folly. Like I was Muslims gonna get mad, but I used to read the Quran, and me and my wife tried to like join to convert, but the Most High just wasn't hearing it, man. It's just whatever we tried to do, it just wasn't gonna happen. Like Yah was like, you're going to do this. Like I'm going to give you the Torah, and for like brothers like G-Con and them, they're against like the law, and it's like the brother was saying, if you don't keep the commandments, then you're gonna stumble. And I'm not sure, but I think that's like Psalm 119, 165, if I'm not mistaken. It's like there's no stumbling block for those who keep the Torah, if I'm not mistaken. But so these dudes, they stumble and bumble because before you enter into the temple, there's a curtain in there. There's a curtain here and a curtain there. And for dudes to be like to negate the Torah or the law, or as they call it, yeah, you're gonna stumble and bumble because you ain't gonna be able to see what's in here. You can't enter inside the you won't understand. It keeps you looking outward instead of inward. Yeah, the sacrifices. The word korab also means sacrifice, but also means within. Within the self. So I always say one of my favorite sayings is the quickest way to heaven is to go inward. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was like, the kingdom is not outside. You're gonna be looking for the king. I mean, they were already in the land, right? So he wasn't talking about he was teaching from the Torah. He was teaching you, what I'm saying? He said that there's some here who will not taste death before they enter into the understanding of the inward man, the kingdom, the council. He didn't mean like people gonna be living 2,000 years, right? You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, so that's what I was saying. A lot of people, I was like, sometimes you might find the Torah teachers' teachings more understandable coming from people who are coming from the Torah as opposed to as a G-Con them or a G-Man, or there's a group called Neo Santo Saints. They literally laugh at the Torah, like they laugh at it and be like, y'all a bunch of devil covenant breakers and blah blah blah, y'all some Pharisees and blah 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 blah. And it's like, debate talk for you and talk about the teachings. of Yahushua and see who has more understanding of it. Because I have his teachings already connected with the Torah, but they refuse to do it. And I'm like, well, y'all say y'all believe. Do y'all believe in him, or do you believe in his words? You know, I think that's what it comes down to. Like, you know, they be like, you know, and we have a sister named Lita for Christ. She's always like, Christ, 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 Christ. Okay, but do you listen to his words? Do you believe anything he said? Do you listen to anything he taught? Because if that man was to come back right now, he'd be teaching you the Torah. And you know what they'd be doing? They'd be doing this. I don't want to hear this. Paul said. But Paul said. And he'd be like, fool ass. Like, I'm the dude you saying you believe in. I'm telling you, this is what. And they wouldn't listen to him. So, you know, but, you know, that's the world we live in. The Most High sorted it all out. You know what I'm saying? I got a class to teach. I'm titled it with the, after the debate talk for you featuring Mikael. This brother got like 6 names: Mikael, Yisrael, Mikael, Yesharon.
Just put, you could just put Mikael. You could just put Mikael ben Yisrael, man.
All right. Do you want the Z?
Huh?
Do you want the Z? Y-I-Z?
You could do YIS.
Okay.
You could do the Yiddish, bro. Yeah, you know, I'm cool. The Yiddish don't bother me because it still sounds kind of pretty smooth. Hey, look.
I mean, I got it in mind. I got you in mind. So
yeah. And Yesharon is my nickname. So yeah, you just put Mikael ben Yisrael.
Okay. Trey, were you saying something?
Nah, this door squeaking open. Don't worry about it.
Oh, all right, y'all. I got a class to teach, man. I got some little hooligans to teach English. You know, whatever. Yeah, man, it's been a beautiful build. Actually, Mikael, man, like, bro, you know, we need to try to get D-Red on. You know, we want other brothers. You know, we have ex-Tor Night dudes. They just listen right now. They're probably, who knows what they're probably trying to hang themselves right now because you're on here. Like they want us to be this whole isolated cult group that don't talk to nobody else, but just keeping it in house and don't talk to nobody else. Don't build with Israel. Like, and I'm like, we are so far past that. It's not even funny.
Well, I told you, when you see them on Shield Squad panel talking about their new member, y'all are officially a camp. Because Shield Squad just get all the scragglers, the disgruntled scragglers. So they might wind up over there.
No, you're right, bro. No, you're absolutely correct, bro. I don't know if we're a camp though, brother, but I know what you mean. I know what you're saying though. But you know, are you cool with Michael Edwards?
Yeah. We cool. I talk to him. I talk to him like a couple times a week. I talk to everybody. Him, Carl Albert. I talk to all of them.
All right. Now, Michael Edwards. I mean, we always go at it, but I still watch that brother's show because I think he's just one of the funniest brothers on YouTube.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he's funny. And he's smart too. That's the thing. Like sometimes I don't think he works up to his potential. I think he realized that like when he starts teaching, then people won't pay attention to him. And again, I know what that's like. I know where he's coming from. If you know, but he is very capable of you know, when he wants to get down to the nitty gritty, his sword game is pretty sharp. But you know, we are supposed to like be bridging gaps, and we're not supposed to be holding grudges. And he is affiliated with, you know, Sa Neter and them or whatever, and you know they're very cliquey. And you know those Israelites over there don't deal with other brothers, you know, or whatever. But yeah, man, you know, come back, you know, you're welcome at any time. You know what I'm saying? Even Lex Vortex crazy ass is you know, we don't certain Torah Nights ain't dealing with that brother, but because he be talking crazy. But you know, yeah, man, you know, if you can, man, get Michael Edwards, bring that brother on the show. You know, like.
If he's, you put it like this, yeah, that brother a very sharp teacher. I've been telling him that he real sharp on the teaching, you know. But I say this, Michael Edwards get along, but Michael Edwards and Israel Doctrine are similar to the degree that they beat to their own drum. I'll holler at him for you. I wouldn't be surprised. I think he'll come on. more than likely he'll come on. So I give him a holler for you, you know.
Yeah, thank you. Because we're all in the same struggle. When he was getting on chastising LaRon, I was like, man, hey man, brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because he was just telling 100% truth, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, I'm like, man, we are all on the same page with this. You know, differences aside, you know, we on the same page. And I don't want to like dog that brother LaRon out, man, because I like me and LaRon, we used to be cool, man. You know what I'm saying? But ever since he done got with No Jab Stallone, man, it's like his whole spirit changed. And you know, and I, maybe one day. I don't think so, but maybe one Yahweh can do all things. Maybe one day he might snap out of that folly once he realizes that them dudes are official L holders and they ain't winning nothing.
Well, all I say is, you know, it ain't no secret. You know, I say anything to his face, I say anywhere else, but it's kind of hard to say I hate him. You know what I'm saying? I got love for that brother. I ain't gonna even front. I just, you know, he got to stay on that side. But I can't do that. Like you said, you know, man, it's just like transformation, man. I mean, it's like amazing, man. Like, you know, but if you talk to him, he'll tell you he always felt a certain way and all that type of way. But all I say is, I'm going to leave with this. The Jesus Christ that I know, that's in that New Testament, he said something that a lot of people didn't pay attention to. So I don't know where these churches get it from. He said, I pray not for the world. He literally said, he don't pray for the world. He do not. Only for the ones that's his guy that's chosen, that's riding with the Father. He don't pray for everybody. But I prayed for LaRon a long time ago. That's one. You know, that's between him and the Most High, man. Whenever he come on back, though, I'm definitely here with open arms. You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, while he over there, I get to throwing these haymakers. He better duck.
Hey, with that, man, you know, anybody got, you know, I guess I seriously got to like go teach class. But LeBron, man, brother, you know, hey, like the brother said, man, whenever you decide to quit being a stool pigeon for the enemy, then you know what I'm saying, you know, and faithful to God, bruh, you too smart for that. And you being act like a coward with your disabled comments and all that, brother. You too smart for that, brother. Cut it out, man. You just cut it out, man. Like, brother, you lose it. Yeah, we understand IUIC is a foolish group. Like, we know that. But you know, come on, man. Like, you know what it is. And with that, man, you know, Yahweh God, man. I'll teach a class. I'll tag it up, you know, or whatever. You know what it is. You know, Shalom, Yahweh God. Everyone, you know, get your final. Let's not get our final verses in, bro, because I literally got to go teach class. Like,
Shalom,
hey, real quick, keep the commandments and live.
The commandments and live. Yeah. I second that. What was that we read? Great understanding are those who keep his commandments. So dumb as a box of rocks. That's because you ain't keeping the commandments. Shalom.
Yahweh God.
Oh yeah, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yahweh God. Put it down.
Yahweh God. Indeed, Yahweh is Elohim. Shalom.
Shalom, Yahweh God.
All right, y'all. Shalom, Yahweh God. TORAH Night signing out. Brother Mikael.
Shalom.